Good afternoon and welcome to the midday briefing. Let me start by announcing the agenda for President von der Leyen for next week. As of Monday, the President will be in Strasbourg for the European Parliament's plenary session. On Tuesday, she will chair the meeting of the College of Commissioners. And then on Thursday, the President will be in Rome, where she will deliver a keynote speech at the 7th French-Italian Economic Forum, Confindustria MEFED. Still in Rome, on Thursday, the President will deliver an opening speech at the Ukraine Recovery Conference, hosted jointly by Italy and Ukraine. And finally, Friday, President von der Leyen will receive the directors of the Green 10 Coalition of Environmental Organizations in Europe. And that's for the President's agenda for next week. Je continue et permettez-moi d'attirer votre attention sur le premier sommet Union européenne-Moldavie qui a lieu aujourd'hui à Chisinau. Ce sommet, auquel participe la présidente von der Leyen aux côtés du président du Conseil européen Antonio Costa et de la présidente de la République moldave Maia Sandu, démontre entre autres notre soutien au processus d'adhésion de la Moldavie à l'Union européenne. Les trois présidents prononceront des déclarations au début du sommet vers 17 heures et tiendront une conférence de presse conjointe aux alentours de 18 heures. Donc, vous pouvez suivre les déclarations et la conférence de presse en direct sur EBS. Et toute question concernant la Moldavie devra être réservée à cette conférence de presse. Finally, I understand that we have a group of 22 Italian journalists joining us in the press room today on a visit organized by DG Regio. We hope you enjoy your time in sunny Brussels and the EU institutions, and benvenuti a tutti. Et voilà pour nos annonces. Passons maintenant à vos questions. Raisa, please.
Hello, thank you. Razia Akoch, AFP News Agency. I believe this will probably be the first question. It's on trade, and so we bring back Olaf to the podium, which I'm sure he truly missed. I have a couple of questions. First, we've seen that China has said that it requires major European brandy exporters to raise prices or risk anti-dumping taxes, so I'd like to know the European Commission's response to that, if any. And then I'd like to know, since we had Commissioner Šefčovič in the United States, his tweet wasn't enough for me, as much as I'd always love to see a tweet or a post or whatever we call it these days. And so I'd like to know more, because we're talking about an agreement in principle. Are we going to get a deal to be announced early next week? I imagine so, if one takes the optimism at face value. And a third question, since my francophone binôme is no longer working in Brussels, I'll have to ask this question on his behalf because I know he's interested. Mercosur. Paolo, you mentioned in the coming days. His coming days have passed. Can we get a date on when we expect the legal text to be presented? Thank you.
Coming days are still coming. And thank you, Razia, for giving Olaf the opportunity to be back with us at the podium. Welcome, Olaf.
Obrigado, Paula. Thanks for your question, Razia. Hi, everyone. It's nice to be back. So, a few questions to respond to there, Razia. Let me start, I think, with the question on Commissioner Šefčovič's mission to the US. First of all, we should take this opportunity to wish our American friends a happy 4th of July. We hope they have a good time, and we hope it puts them in a good mood for the weekend. Unfortunately, Razia, I can't say too much beyond Commissioner Šefčovič's tweet, for the simple reason that we are now in a very sensitive phase of negotiations. The Commissioner is returning to Brussels. The Commission will today brief our Member States on the state of play of those negotiations, and when we receive the views and feedback of our Member States, we will then carefully assess how to take the next step in those negotiations. I'm sorry I can't say too much more at the moment, but you'll understand the reasons why. You might have noted that, as well as the tweet, the photo of Commissioner Šefčovič was with his American counterpart. They were both smiling, so maybe we can take that as a positive sign. Your other questions on Mercosur, we can't say more at the moment. We've made a commitment that we will make the legal presentation, presentation of the legal basis to our Member States before the end of the summer. That remains the case. I can't be more prescriptive on timings at this point. And finally, on China. So the question was about the imposition of duties on European brandy exports. Okay. So let me be very clear on this. The EU regrets China's decision to impose definitive anti-dumping measures on imports of EU brandy to China. We have been notified of that decision today. The Commission has followed this investigation very closely from the beginning. Our view all along has been unchanging and very firm. We believe that China's measures are unfair. We believe they are unjustified. We believe they are inconsistent with the applicable international rules and are thus unfounded. Since the start of this issue, the Commission has intervened on a number of occasions to defend and support EU industry by expressing our growing concerns, by raising objections concerning the clear shortcomings in the conduct of this investigation. And I should add that none of the concerns we identified at the provisional stage and which we raised in a formal WTO consultation last November have been addressed. Regrettably, these measures are also part of a worrying pattern of China abusing trade defence instruments, starting and conducting investigations on the basis of questionable allegations and insufficient evidence, all this within a short period of time. So we are now going to study these measures closely, and we will assess the next steps in order to best protect EU industry and EU economic interests.
Questions to Olaf? Yes, there, please. Yes. Not to Olaf. Okay. To Olaf. Yes. Behind you.
Thank you so much. Just a quick follow-up question. Hi. To Olaf. So first would be whether to, on China, if you could give us an update on the investigation on electric vehicles. Does that mean that now that there has been, some movement from China to exempt key brandy producers, that we could expect some movement on the EV probe? And then my second question would come back to Raz's question on the US. Has the European Union already received a letter from Trump after he said that he would start notifying countries of the tariffs they would face starting early next week? Have we got a letter already along those lines? Thank you.
Thanks very much, Camille. It's good to see you. So on the US, I'm not aware of any such letter that we've received, but I'll certainly check that for you and come back to be sure. And forgive my baby brain, what was your first question? Yeah. I mean, I can see the story you're trying to write there, but no, we are not going to comment on our ongoing negotiations with China to find a solution on price undertakings for battery electric vehicle exports from China into the EU, and we're not going to be making any causal links at this point. I've given the position, the Commission's position on this unfortunate action by China as regards EU brandy exports, and the talks on EVs are continuing.
Good. And we move on. Still to Olaf. Yes, Christian.
Thanks, Christian with Answer. Just a quick clarification on the Mercosur timeline, because now you said before end of summer. Does that mean before the end of recess? Because previously I think the planning was early July, so if you could clarify that. Thanks.
Thanks, Christian. We have consistently said before the end of summer. And that's all we are going to say at this point. If it happens before the end of summer, which traditionally we would take to mean the end of the harvest season, which is usually in around September, if it happens before then, happy days. But we're not going to be any more prescriptive about a potential date at this point.
Good. Yes, please.
Hi, Peggy Collin for Euronews. According to some media reports, China wants to cancel the second day of the summit, which is planned for the end of the month. Do you think you can still have a fruitful summit in these circumstances? Thank you.
Let me take this one. I've seen these reports. Well, in fact, we are still discussing together with the Council. You know, this is a bilateral summit, so it's all in the hands of the Council to organize it in close coordination with us, and we are still discussing and finalizing the program of the summit with our Chinese counterparts. So nothing has been cancelled because nothing has been announced yet, and no final program has been agreed yet. Other questions still to Olaf? Let me check online. I have one question online with the colleague still having his hands up. Is it for Olaf? Frédéric Simon.
Yes, it's not for Olaf. It's on climate.
Okay, you can go on because I think we have exhausted the questions for Olaf today. Thank you, Olaf. Go ahead. On climate. No longer keen on asking the question on climate?
Sorry, I didn't realize my mic had been turned off. So, yes, it's about the European climate law and the proposal that was made on Wednesday. There was a list of 18 enabling conditions that was put into Article 4 of the European climate law. And I was wondering, what is the legal status of that? What obligations does this create for the European Commission? Does it mean that if one of the conditions isn't met, then the EU or its member states may have grounds to miss the 90% emissions reduction target for 2040? Or maybe is it something that can be used by the member states later on to invalidate a future Commission proposal? Thank you.
Thanks a lot. And we move to the extended technical briefing in nerdy mode for the benefit of all the millions of spectators watching this. So I will reply to you that no, it does not mean that they would give member states any legal grounds to not meet the 90% reduction target. What it means is that these 18 enabling conditions are it's the criteria that the Commission has duty to include in the package to implement the 2040 target. And the paragraph before these enabling conditions, and I'm sure you're looking at the climate law at the moment, so you will immediately be able to spot what I'm talking about. It explains that the enabling conditions are what we will do to ensure and reflect appropriately in the legislative proposals that are coming still to implement the target. But if you allow, if you want to continue on the technical aspects of this, we can also move that outside the on-the-record part with your agreement. But this is the short response to your question.
Anna Kaiser, other questions to Anna Kaiser? Yes, please.
Tatiana Vysotska, European Pravda, Ukraine. My question is about yesterday's visit of delegation of the Commission to Slovakia, to Bratislava, to discuss the claims of Slovakia that the end of supply of Russian gas to Europe in 2028 will harm Slovakia's economy, will raise prices, so on and so on. And that's why Slovakia is blocking 18th package of sanctions against Russia. So what are the results of the discussion? What did the Commission promise to Slovakia? Because Robert Fico, the Prime Minister, said that they will have harm on 16-20 billion of euros. So did you promise them to compensate 20 billion of euros? And maybe you know if Slovakia changed its mind on 18th package of sanctions. Thank you.
What I can say about the meeting yesterday, it takes place in the context of our ongoing discussion and dialogue with Slovakia, as well as with some other member states as well. So there was a high-level visit from the Commission, DG ENER, to Slovakia yesterday, to Bratislava, and the purpose of the meeting was to prepare ground for Slovakia's diversification plans that are envisaged in the REPowerEU roadmap, as well as to discuss technical and regulatory obstacles. And the delegation was led by Director General Dieter Juul Jørgensen, and they met with the Slovak Deputy Prime Minister, Denisa Sakova, as well, in addition to industry representatives, transmission system operators, and market players. So what they were discussing and exchanging on were the key challenges to Slovakia, which we know very well. We have had a dialogue with our counterparts for months now, and these included energy prices, further outlook on energy market, diversification efforts, including alternative suppliers, which we have also been discussing, and these suppliers as regards gas, oil, and nuclear. And then, of course, infrastructure questions, which has been our priority always as regards our member states on their connectedness and how we can ensure that, because we are one of the main organizations to fund infrastructure as well in energy in the European Union. And then, of course, regulatory aspects, and this is where the transmission system operators were a key participant to these discussions as well. The meeting, the reports that I got from Bratislava was that the meeting was held in a very good atmosphere, constructive atmosphere, and the parties are looking forward to continue their discussions.
Yes. You have a follow-up.
But was there the sign from Slovak side that they are completely satisfied or they are not satisfied? So good atmosphere, it's good, but is it the end of the claims or just the middle?
We need to ask our Slovak colleagues and counterparts how they saw the meeting, of course, and they are best placed to reply to that. Any other question to Anna-Kaisa? Yes, go ahead.
Petr Obrovský from Czech Television. I've got a question on the climate law, concretely on a letter sent by Commissioner Sikela to the President von der Leyen, which was first reported by the German daily Der Spiegel. In the letter, Commissioner raises his objections to the climate target approved on Wednesday. He says there is lack of consensus among member states, and he considers the new climate target dangerous for political reasons. So if you could tell us what the reaction is, what the reaction of the President von der Leyen is, and if there would be any further implications concerning their work or future relations. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. We will not comment on what are internal discussions that, as you know, every time we put forward a proposal, it's based on discussions and eventually a collegial decision. And so the exchange of opinions and the expression of opinions is part of the process. Further questions to Anna-Kaisa? I see online still some hands. Are these on climate or energy? Tommaso? Or transport, indeed, Anna-Kaisa.
Yeah, question on transport. This is about the air traffic control strike, which is ongoing in France. It's causing a lot of disruption in transport, both in France and beyond. Airlines say that over 1,500 flights have been cancelled. There are hundreds of thousands of passengers affected. And among the angry reactions by airlines, there is one of Ryanair, which said, and I quote, is calling on Ursula von der Leyen to quit if she's not willing to reform Europe's failed air traffic control service. So first, I want a reaction to this. And more in general, the problem seems to be the one of overflying countries during such air traffic control strikes. is the Commission willing to, is planning to intervene on this sector to basically guarantee the right of airlines to overfly countries even during air traffic control strikes?
Thank you very much. First of all, on the contacts by Ryanair and their press releases, we do not have any particular comment to make to those beyond what we have said in earlier instances, notably by Commissioner for Transport, Commissioner Tsitsikostas, who already in April sent a letter to Member States. And this was then discussed further in the Transport Council. This is very much on his radar, on the Commission's radar. We have to, at the same time, remember the division of labour in this exercise. Air traffic controlling is the responsibility, per international and EU legislation, it's the responsibility of Member States and countries generally. And the Commissioner approached the Member States already in April with view of the foreseen congestion this summer, because obviously it's a high season for travellers, it's a holiday period, and that's when we usually see the main congestion in European airspace, airports, long waiting hours, queues, etc. So the Commissioner in April called on his counterparts, the ministers in Member States, to already start preparing and already start ensuring, for example, that the staffing at airports is adequate to handle these congestions. So we are fully aware of these concerns for air traffic and air travelling always before summer. We are expecting air traffic growth of 5% during the summer, close to 37,000 flights on peak days this summer. So we are fully aware that this is an issue, and we have it very much on our radar, and we do what we can within the framework of legislation and the powers and responsibilities that we have in the Commission. So we closely continue to monitor this together with Eurocontrol. And on the strikes, obviously, we fully acknowledge the legitimate right of strikes in Member States, for sure. But it is an issue that needs to be addressed more broadly. And for this, Commissioner Tsitsikostas took kind of preemptive action already in April by getting in touch with Member States.
Anna-Kaisa, any other question for Anna-Kaisa? No, and we can change topic. Yes, Jan?
Hi, Gianbo Picelli, Bloomberg News. I have a question about the AI Act, so that Thomas doesn't feel underutilized now that Olaf is back. So I was just wondering whether there's any update on the Commission's timeline for the implementation of the AI Act amid multiple calls for stopping the clock, so to speak, from businesses, but also from a few member countries. And I'm also wondering, when is the Commission going to say yes or no, we're stopping the clock? When should I expect this statement, the definitive statement on that?
Sure, Thomas is never underutilized, Jan. And we count on you. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Jan. I've seen indeed a lot of reporting, a lot of letters, and a lot of things being said on the AI Act. Let me be as clear as possible. There is no stop the clock. There is no grace period. There is no pause. Why? We have legal deadlines established in a legal text. The prohibitions kicked in February. General purpose AI model obligations will kick in August. And next year, we have the obligations for high-risk models that will kick in August 2026. These are legal deadlines. We have a legal text that was adopted by our co-legislators, and it's the Commission's obligation to, of course, then enforce the legislation and make sure that companies comply with the AI Act. Now, that being said, we take, of course, the concerns by the industry extremely seriously. We take the concerns of our member states very seriously. And in this context, there are a lot of things that beyond the existing legal text that we can do. For example, We have been very clear on the general purpose AI code of practice. Executive Vice President has said it. We will present it in the coming days. We can discuss when this will be implemented. The end of the year being considered. Too many administrative burdens for companies. We can discuss about this. We have a simplification omnibus coming later this year. For example, we have also established an AI service desk to help companies to comply with our legislation. So the legal text and the legal deadlines is a legal text, and these are legal deadlines. There is very little we can do about it. Now, within this limit, as I've just told you, we will see whatever we can do, we will do it to, of course, take the concerns of our industry extremely seriously. Now, one last point on this, in a more broader sense, we, of course, want to make Europe an AI continent. The President was extremely clear about this when she was in Paris at the AI Summit. We are advancing extremely quickly on these promises that we made on the AI gigafactories with the 76 applications that we already received from 16 member states. So let's all pull into the same direction. We want Europe to be a true AI continent. We take concerns very seriously. We will address them where we can. But indeed, let's all pull into the same direction.
You have a follow-up, Chen.
Sorry, very quickly. I'm a bit challenged, so I just would like to understand. When you talk about implementation of the code of practice, what do you mean? Like from when it starts applying, from when it's adopted? What do you mean with implementation of the code of practice practically?
So you have a code of practice that will be presented to you. It was drafted, again, by more than 1,000 stakeholders. It was a very inclusive, I should have mentioned this in my previous reply, very inclusive process where we really want to be in touch and rely on the concerns and build on the work done by the AI community itself. This will be presented. Signatories will then be able to sign the code, and when it will be officially implemented, I recall that it is a voluntary code, but by when the signatories want to commit to that, this can be discussed. So this is a possibility, again, where we are open to discuss and to listen to the industry.
Other questions to John? Yes?
Hi, Luca Bertuzzi, MLEX. Just to follow up on this topic, I would kindly ask you to comment on Virkunen's interview earlier this week on Politico, where she said three things, essentially: that the AI Act standards will be ready next month, that the Commission will take a decision on the stop the clock next month, based on where the standards land, and that companies should have 1 year after the standards are finalized to comply with the AI Act. Now, I understand the first statement is incorrect. The standards are not expected to be finalized until summer next year. So do you wish to confirm also the other two statements?
Thank you, Luca. I will, of course, confirm what EVP says, in the sense that, of course, she is in touch with the industry, she is in touch with stakeholders, she is the first one listening to these concerns, and she will make sure that we can address them. Now, you know very well that the standards is not us developing the standards. They will be ready when they will be ready. Again, they help especially and essentially when it comes to the upcoming high-risk provisions. So again, the standards will be ready when they will be ready. I don't have an exact timeline here on this.
Good. Other questions to Thomas? No. Yes, there. Follow-up, Luca?
Yes, please. So, I mean, I understand the standards will be ready when they're ready, but Virkunen said a decision will be taken next month. Is that what is going to happen or not? And on a separate note, asking for a colleague of mine, does the Commission have any comment on Meta's push for an EU-wide digital majority age? And are there any initiatives in the work on this? Thank you.
Well, on the interview and the comments of Executive Vice President Virkunen, we take it from there, obviously. If she says that they will be ready next month, we'll take it from there. On the other question, Thomas.
Thank you, Paula. On the other question, yes, I indeed saw also Sarah's question. Now, we have no particular comments to make on Meta's decision to impose a so-called EU-wide social media ban. This is not Meta's competence. What we request from Meta and what we ask from Meta is to comply with the digital legislation. And this, of course, includes strong safeguards when it comes to the protection of minors. Now, you're talking about initiatives that are coming up in the next month. Yes, we have one, and we have a very big one, is the presentation of the pilot project on age verification. We have announced this for July, and we will deliver it in July. There again, we work very closely with our member states, and we'll present this indeed in the course of July together with the guidelines.
Other questions to Thomas? No, then we can change the topic. There in the back.
Yes, thank you. Antonio Fumagalli for Neue Zürcher Zeitung. I would like to come back to China, but from another angle, so we can leave in peace. Olaf, it's about foreign policy. We could read that the Chinese foreign minister, he told Kaja Kallas that China doesn't want Russia to lose the war because then the US could turn towards Asia. Can you confirm that Wang told this Kallas, and could you give us some more background on this? Thank you.
Thank you. That will be for Anita.
So thank you. We'll not comment on leaks, so for whatever the Chinese said, we'll refer you to them. What our focus is on Ukraine, on supporting Ukraine. Russia's here the aggressor, Ukraine is here the victim, so we're making sure to put Ukraine in the strongest possible position.
Thank you, Anita. Other questions to Anita on foreign affairs? Yes, Vitali.
Thank you. Vitaly Sizov, UATV. Maybe you have some reaction on yesterday attack on Kyiv. Today, Minister for Foreign Affairs, they called to more decisive action from international community. And in situation when the future of aid from United States is unclear, could EU do more? And does EU have the source to do more? Thank you.
Thank you. So you asked two in one. So what we've seen yesterday is that Russia has launched one of the largest attacks since the start of its war of aggression with 530 missiles and drones. This massive attack shows once more that Russia is not interested in ceasefire or in ending its war of aggression. And when it comes to our support, we continue to stand with Ukraine and its people, and we will increase our support.
Yeah, maybe allow me to recall also in regard to the question you just asked, Vitali, in light of the indications that there could be some backtracking on supplies by the US to Ukraine. President von der Leyen yesterday on a similar question said precisely in Denmark that this is a clear signal and a clear message for us in Europe to step up our own support, to ramp up our European defence capacities, not just at the European Union level, but at continental level. Other questions on foreign affairs? Yes?
Thank you. Kama Mustafaeva, Report News Agency. My question concerns Azerbaijan and Russia recent tension. I believe there are a lot of coverage in major media outlets about after killing and injured some Azerbaijani nationals in Yekaterinburg town in Russia. And after that, there is a heated relationship, heated tension between two countries. And my question is, some Russian experts suggested it's Azerbaijan used it as excuse to distance itself from Russia and get close to the West. I don't know. And my question is, what does the EU think about it? It's the overall situation, and is there any official reaction or any discussion with Azerbaijan, which is part of Eastern Partnership, and have a trade relationship with EU? Thank you.
Thank you. On this, we have had a reaction by our ambassador, which I would invite you to see. But what we see throughout is that the repression by the Russian authorities is visible to all, and this is being manifested externally, internally, but also against minorities. So the result is violence, torture, and inhumane treatment leading to deaths.
Other questions to Anita? Yeah.
Anchal, for foreign policy, I wanted to ask you about High Representative's tweet on Iran, saying Iran should end its nuclear program. And then Iranian Foreign Minister responded saying that Iran is still a signatory of NPT, which allows it to develop, and as does JCPOA. So is there a shift in EU's Iran policy? Is the High Representative saying Iran cannot develop, cannot enrich uranium for civilian purposes?
So this is a question that Anwar will take. From what you recall from the geographical coverage of Anita, any other questions for Anita? Yes, Valentina. Then we'll come back on your question that will be replied by Anwar.
Valentina Vasilyeva, TVP, вот так. Yesterday, 11 Russian political prisoners wrote a letter to political leaders in different countries, and they called for negotiations between Russia and Ukraine to immediately conduct an exchange of prisoners of war and civilians. And also they asked politicians from different countries to create conditions for the release of all those persecuted in Russia for political reasons. Do you think that the European Union can do something about that, create these conditions to push Russia to release political prisoners, since they already writing a letter from a jail to all world society to do something about it? Maybe it's not just for Anita, maybe Paula also can comment on it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So it's what I have said also before when it comes to Russia's repression. It's not happening only externally, but also internally against all those that have the incredible courage to speak up for democracy, for a regime that against a regime that is choosing oppression and persecution. So, of course, we call on the Russian authorities to immediately release all political prisoners, and we stand by Ukraine in all the support Ukraine also needs in this regard.
Thank you, Anita. Other questions to Anita? Stefan, welcome to the press room.
Good afternoon. Stefan Grober, Euronews. So in May, President von der Leyen launched the Choose Europe initiative to attract highly skilled professionals to Europe. Now that US President Trump has said he's considering deporting Elon Musk, would the Commission welcome Elon Musk choosing Europe if he needed asylum? Thank you.
Last time I had a question on this personality, it made it into the headlines. So I have to watch my words, as we always do. So Choose Europe is a program which is aimed precisely at attracting talents, at attracting students, at attracting all those who want to develop their skills. So it's up to the different talents in the world, and up to you, Stefan, to judge whether that personality is also a talent who would be eligible to our Choose Europe program. But as said, we are looking indeed to capture the best talent in the world through the Choose Europe programme, and we're welcoming those. Good. Other questions? Other questions? I'd say to Anita, I'm sorry, let me make it clear. No, not for... then I think we still have on foreign affairs, probably not for Anita, but for Anwar, as we had one on Iran. So let's move on to Anwar to reply to the earlier question. Do you want to repeat it, just that we all remember what your question was about?
Sure. The High Representative tweeted that Iran must end its nuclear program, to which the Iranian foreign minister responded saying, you know, it's a member of NPT, which allows it to develop uranium for civilian purposes, and as does the JCPOA, so which the EU is a signatory to. So is there a shift in EU policy? Is the EU now saying that Iran cannot enrich any uranium for even civilian purposes?
Thank you for the question. The position of the European Union is clear, and so is the position of the High Representative. Iran must never be allowed to acquire a nuclear weapon. We will continue to contribute to all diplomatic efforts to reduce tensions and to bring about a lasting solution to the Iranian nuclear issue, which can only be achieved through negotiations. I will here again recall the latest statement from the EU High Representative together with the foreign ministers of France, the UK and Germany, where they have all reiterated our long-standing concerns about Iran's expansion of its nuclear program, which has no credible civilian purpose. So I think this is clear enough.
Thank you, Anwar. Other questions to Anwar? Yes.
Thank you, Magnus, with Euractiv. Anwar, Germany's Interior Minister yesterday pushed to engage with Taliban directly in Afghanistan to deport convicts of Austria sent back. Austria sent back the first Syrian convicts to Syria yesterday. Russia acknowledged also the Taliban government yesterday, and so my question is, would that be an option for the EU as well to normalize relations? What's the general political guidelines on deporting convicts to Syria, Afghanistan for the EU also? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will let my colleague Marcus comment on the migration issue, but I can comment here on the diplomatic angle. And let's start first with the Russian angle that you have raised. We have taken note of Russia's decision to accept the credentials of a new Afghan ambassador to Moscow, appointed by the Taliban de facto authorities in Kabul, and with it to announce their official recognition of the Taliban as the legitimate government in Afghanistan. Let me say that recognizing the Taliban as the legitimate government of Afghanistan undermines ongoing international efforts to find solutions for long-lasting peace in Afghanistan and stability in the region. I will also here recall the EU's approach. Our approach is based on the EU Council conclusions from September 2021 and March 2023, together with the UN Security Council Resolution 2593. What does it mean? It means that the EU's operational engagement with the Taliban is and will be carefully calibrated to the policy and actions of the Taliban de facto authorities. And for us, the EU, the domestic legitimacy of the authorities should actually precede any international legitimacy questions.
Thank you, Anwar. Now, I know, Mose, you've been patiently waiting for the possibility to ask Anwar a question online.
Yes, thank you, Paula. Musa, Broadcasters Times. I would like to ask Anwar if you know if there is a new date has been set for the high-level political conference on the implementation of the two-state solution in the Middle East, and also if in the meantime there have been working parties going on to discuss any specific issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Mose. So far, no news on any potential date for the two-state solution conference that you have mentioned, but we are eagerly looking forward to a new date. In the meantime, our position does not change. The direction of travel remains unchanged. There is no other solution than the two-state solution, and the European Union remains firmly committed to a lasting, sustainable peace based on this two-state solution.
Thank you. Odile.
Oui, merci Paola. Oui, comme pour ne pas faire entendre sa voix concernant ça va mieux.
Ça marche. Vas-y, Odile.
Ok.
Non, ça ne marche plus.
Ça marche plus?
Oui, ça marche.
Ça marche, d'accord. Comme vous le savez, l'Union européenne est fortement critiquée pour ne pas faire entendre suffisamment sa voix concernant le désastre humanitaire qui se déroule à Gaza, spécialement depuis l'arrivée de la fondation basée Gaza Humanitarian Foundation avec le support des États-Unis. Et donc les citoyens européens aussi réclament davantage de réactions de la part de l'Union européenne. Ils savent que lors du Conseil, lors du sommet, il n'y a pas effectivement de majorité et que pour remettre le contrat d'association avec Israël, l'embargo sur les armes, etc., il n'y a pas de majorité, mais les gens savent que quand même, avec plus de 57 000 Gazaouis qui ont été tués, pour tous ces gens déplacés, et ils réclament que les dirigeants de l'Union européenne se prononcent davantage pour éviter tout ce carnage des bébés de tous ces gens qui ne peuvent plus être soignés. Parce qu'il n'y a plus d'essence qui arrive et que les quelques unités de santé hospitalières qui fonctionnent encore, on entend les médecins, les humanitaires qui poussent des cris d'alarme parce que rien ne fonctionne de plus. Donc on attend des dirigeants de l'Union européenne davantage de réactions. Merci.
Merci Odile pour ta question et ta position. Quand il s'agit de notre position, elle est claire et la haute représentante est en première ligne et a été vocale depuis sa prise de fonction. La situation sur le terrain est intolérable et intenable. Notre objectif, quel est-il? C'est celui de sauver des vies sur le terrain. C'est ce qu'elle dit lors de ses contacts avec son interlocuteur israélien, le ministre des Affaires étrangères Gideon Sa'ar, notamment en termes d'acheminement de l'aide humanitaire, puisqu'Israël, en tant que puissance occupante, a le devoir de s'assurer à ce que l'aide parvienne aux gens qui en ont besoin sur le terrain à Gaza. Il s'agit d'une goutte dans l'océan, ce que l'on voit pour l'instant dans la bande de Gaza, et la haute représentante a été très claire à ce sujet. Maintenant, s'agissant de la situation à Gaza et de la fondation humanitaire que tu as mentionnée, les victimes persistantes à Gaza autour de ces centres de distribution ne peuvent être tolérées en aucune manière que ce soit et doivent cesser immédiatement. L'Union européenne rappelle que l'aide humanitaire ne doit jamais être politisée ni militarisée et nous rappelons ici le rôle des Nations unies dans la distribution de l'aide humanitaire, cette aide humanitaire qui doit respecter les principes humanitaires en termes d'indépendance, d'impartialité et de neutralité. Et nous réitérons encore une fois notre appel urgent en faveur d'une reprise immédiate, sans entrave et durable de l'aide à grande échelle à Gaza et cela dans tout le territoire en question. Et je vais ici rappeler que nous, Union européenne, nous ne finançons pas cette initiative, la Fondation humanitaire à Gaza, et ne coopérons pas avec celle-ci. Donc c'est très clair. Merci.
C'est un appel qui a été réitéré à plusieurs reprises par la présidente von der Leyen elle-même, y compris lors de son appel avec le Premier ministre Netanyahou il y a 2 semaines, où elle a insisté aussi sur le besoin de lever le blocage à l'aide humanitaire qui doit arriver aux populations urgemment. Other questions for Anwar on Foreign Affairs? Yes, now we come back to you.
So it's just a follow-up on Iran again. So do you mean that the policy is against the expansion to 60% of uranium enrichment, but not to 3.67% as stated in the JCPOA, which is for civilian purposes? I need to know whether you support Iran's uranium enrichment for civilian purposes or no.
Thank you very much. What I said is quite clear. We don't see any credible civilian purpose to the nuclear program that we see as it's unfolding before our eyes in Iran. Our position remains unchanged, and all the statements that have been delivered by the High Representative, by the EU27, together with the E3s, remain valid. And we here again reaffirm our support to the International Atomic Energy Agency and to their Director General. And since you are following up on the first question that you asked, because you also raised the point of the NPT, the Non-Proliferation Treaty, allow me to here be very clear and restate the strong support of the European Union to the Non-Proliferation Treaty as the cornerstone of the global nuclear non-proliferation regime. And we urge Iran to fully implement its Non-Proliferation Treaty obligations.
Thank you. Other questions to Anwar still? No? Then we can change topic. Yes, please.
Anton for AFP. There was no reaction up until now from the Commission about the vote of no confidence against the President. So, yeah, other parties have also voiced concerns about the work of the Commission. So, do you have a reaction from the Commission? And how will this motion affect the work of the Commission?
On our side, the comment is simple. These are initiatives which are within the right of the members of the European Parliament. We do not have further comments on their decisions, and that's all we can say. Yes, go ahead.
On this topic of the confidence vote, will Madam President be present on the debates on Monday personally or no?
Yes, President von der Leyen will, of course, be present. She will be in Strasbourg and she will attend the debate. Yeah, still on this? No? Magnus?
Josep Pereira, who filed this motion of censure, said that the entire Commission would be there. Is it only von der Leyen, or is there also going to be other commissioners present for this motion of censure?
Listen, usually for the Strasbourg weeks, the College of Commissioners is there for various reasons, to attend the plenary session to the extent they have points on the agenda there, to have the college meeting. So usually the college would be present in Strasbourg for all the sessions as necessary. Good. Other topics? Christian.
Thank you, Paula. Christian with NSR. I have a question from Maciej. The Commissioner Roosevelt is scheduled to present the Nature Credits Roadmap on Monday at 9:30. So I was wondering, has this already been adopted, or are you hoping that commissioners will have signed off on the communication by 9:30 on Monday?
afternoon. Thank you, Christian, for your question. As you rightly said, Commissioner Roswell will have a press point at 9:30 on Monday on nature credits communication. When it comes to the adoption, I have to say I will come back to you on this. I suppose it will be adopted in the meantime, but as I said, I have to confirm it.
Yes. And any final question? I have one patient colleague, Gabriele. You have been wanting to come in.
Yeah, thank you, Paola. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thanks for giving me the floor. It's on fiscal governance, actually. So I don't know if Balázs is there, would be for him.
Yeah, go ahead.
Last week at the summit, the Italian Prime Minister made a point concerning the national escape clause and what she called the disparity of treatment between countries that are under EDP, like Italy, and those that are not. And she signaled that the activation, which has not happened yet, of the national escape clause by Italy would mean for Italy to delay its exit from the EDP beyond 2026, which is the date that the government is foreseeing currently. And so this would have impacts on its rating and on the financial markets broadly. So after the summary, my question for you is a solution to these concerns in the works, whether it's needed to be legislative or non-legislative? So a solution indeed to target the case of countries that are under EDP and that would like to activate the national escape clause. Thank you.
My understanding is a little bit different to this. So indeed there are two kinds of scenarios. You might be in an EDP or you might not be in an EDP if you're a member state. Now, if you are not in an EDP and you have activated the national escape clause, then indeed that can create a situation whereby the Commission is not going to launch an excessive deficit procedure with regard to a member state concerned if the deviation from the medium-term fiscal structural plan is justified by a defense expenditure. Now, if there is an ongoing EDP already, that's a little bit of a different situation. There, the national escape clause can help avoid the escalation of the procedure if indeed the member state concerned deviates from the medium-term fiscal structural plan for reasons of defense expenditure. In that case, of course, the Commission is going to look at this in a favorable fashion and will not escalate the procedure. So this is how I understand it. This is the way we see it.
Good. Then with this we conclude our midday. Thank you very much and see you next week.